Hey guys, it's Joey for Digital DJ Tips, and I'm here in our new review lab with a DJ controller that I'd like to walk you guys through. It's from a boutique German company called Faderfox, and I have their latest DJ controller called the DJ44. Now, straight off the bat, what I really like about it is that it has its own carrying case, or to be more specific, it is its own carrying case. As you can see on the sides, it has latches. Let's just pop that off. Okay, and you can take it out. Now, obviously, this is meant for portable DJing in tight or super cramped spaces. It's completely USB powered, so all you have to do is plug it into your laptop's USB port and you're good to go. No need for an additional wall wart or other socket. Now, if you take a look at it, it may seem a bit crowded at first glance, but it's surprisingly intuitive and easy to use, which of course is testament to the company's engineering and design skills. In fact, I don't think I've ever used a controller that crammed this much features and functionality into such a small device. Now, for comparison's sake, I got my iPad Air over here. Here you go. And then let's just compare it with the Faderfox. So, it's a really small device, and like I mentioned, it's really easy to use. It ships with its own mapping for Traktor as well as for Ableton Live. But for the purposes of this review, we're going to use it with Traktor. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Faderfox DJ44. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at the DJ44 from Faderfox. Let me just pop open this cover here. Alright. Okay, let me just show you this real quick. Behind the cover, you have the mapping for Traktor. That's the other way around. Yeah, so you can refer to this if you want to take a look at what the buttons and knobs mean. Put this here on the side. Here you have the mapping for Ableton. It's a sticker as well, so you can stick this to the back of that cover, just like the Traktor one. You got your quick installation guide. And you have the Faderfox CD, which contains the mappings for Traktor and Ableton Live. Now, let me remind you, this controller doesn't come with any light version of Traktor or Ableton. This CD just contains the mappings. Right. Okay, so we're finally at the facade of the controller. Let's just plug it in and start using it. Got my USB lead here. Right. Wait for it to start up. Okay, so let's go have a look at the mixer section. You have two line faders here. These are pretty stiff, so they're really good for making precise sort of volume adjustments. But you're not going to be able to do any scratching or up fader tricks here. Well, of course, there aren't any jog wheels anyway, so you won't be able to scratch. It's the same thing with the crossfader. It's on the stiff side, so again, very good for precise movements, not so good for scratching. So let's just leave that there. Beside them, you have the EQ section, so highs, mids, and lows, and a kill switch here at the bottom, which you can enable or disable. You have your filter knob here, as well as a switch for turning it on and off, and a pan pot for panning your track left or right. Now, beside those, you have your seek knob here. In lieu of a jog fader, you can use this to scrub through your track. Right, so under those, you have your loop section in here. You have this encoder with a display at the top showing you the loop length. If you want to engage it, just press down. Disengage, press it again. If you want to set a manual loop, just go ahead and press the in button here and the out. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Now below the loop section, you have your pitch encoder, which you can use to change the tempo of your track. And as you can see, it's making super duper fine, minute movements. I think that's a recurring theme with this Faderfox controller. You can make a lot of super precise movements. I think that's a good, feature for this one. And below that is the sync knob, of course. If you don't want to do manual beat matching and all that stuff, well, the sync button's there. Alright, so above the mixer, you have the effects section, which has controls for 3 parameters within the effects unit in Traktor, as well as a dry and wet knob. You have your on and off button over here, if you want to enable or disable it, and all of these other buttons, which change depending on what kind of effect you're using, or what kind of effect you have loaded. Okay, now your monitor section is over here as well. Forgot to mention that. Headphones for the left deck, for the right, whether you're using 4 decks or 2 decks, doesn't matter. Okay, now let's go take a look at the hotkey and transport section over here at the bottom. This is your green play button here. Yeah, as advertised, it does work that way. And then you have your cue. And back to that. And you have cue play here. Pretty handy. Okay, now you have your 4 hotkeys over here at the top. And if you want to access hotkeys 5 to 8, all you have to do is press this button over here on the left. So this lights up over here, signifying that you're now using hotkeys 5 to 8. So, go ahead and do that. If you want to delete a hotkey, all you have to do is press the shift button over here and press the hotkey that you want to delete, and it's deleted. Alright, lastly, let's take a look at this right side of the unit. Over here you have your master volume knob, changing the volume of the tractor, and then here is your monitor section, monitor level and mix, for changing what you're hearing in your headphones. And here below, you have your browser area. This is for scrolling through your playlists and track collection, and this is for checking what's in a folder as well as loading them. Press A to load, B, depending on which deck you want to load the track in. So that's all there is to it, really. Like I said, it's a fancy looking and well-built controller that does simple things extremely well. That's a Faderfox DJ44 for you. Just one thing, guys, the DJ44 doesn't have an integrated sound card. So that means if you want to do any pre-queuing of any sort, you're going to want to have to use a splitter cable or an external sound card, something like the Tractor Audio 2. Further, this doesn't come bundled with any software, so you're not getting a light version of Ableton or Tractor with it. So is this the DJ controller for you? Well, if you're just a beginner starting out and working with a limited budget, I suggest you get a controller that meets 2 criteria. Number 1, get a controller that has an integrated sound card. And number 2, get a controller that comes bundled with its own DJ software. Unfortunately, the DJ44 doesn't meet any of these 2 criteria. However, it's not supposed to. Personally, the DJ44 is aimed at more veteran DJs who are looking for a robust, comprehensive, and portable device that they can take to their DJ gigs. At a little over $500, it's certainly not cheap, especially considering that it doesn't have its own internal sound card. However, if you do decide to get one, I think it's money well spent, considering all the features and control that you get, as well as the professional build quality inherent in all Faderfox devices. Further, Faderfox doesn't produce a massive amount of its controllers, so there is a sense of scarcity and exclusivity involved when you're using one of these. It's kind of like driving an expensive coupe. It looks good and it feels great. So again, thank you. I'm Joey for Digital DJ Tips. Head on over to digitaldjtips.com for the full review article of Faderfox's DJ44.